Hi, in this video I'll help you get to know your car a little better. At the end of this video I've put together a straightforward infographic that summarizes all the key points. Like, subscribe and comment below. It really helps.
Hey there and welcome. So you're probably here because that dreaded little warning light popped up on your Chevy's dashboard and now you're trying to figure out what's going on. Well, you came to the right place. Let's get right into it and decode exactly what your car is trying to tell you. You know the feeling, right? You're just driving along, minding your own business, and boom, a new light on the dash. Your mind immediately starts racing. Is this a big deal? Is this going to be expensive? Don't worry. Today, we're going to zero in on one very specific code and take all the guesswork out of it. All right, the code we're putting under the microscope today is C075008. I know, it sounds super technical and intimidating, but it's actually pointing to a pretty straightforward issue. Let's break it down together. So what on earth does that mean? Put simply, your car's brain, the main computer, is getting a weird signal from the tire pressure sensor in your front left tire. And here's the important part. It's not necessarily saying your tire pressure is low. It's saying the signal itself is garbage. It's just not making sense to the computer. Now, this is a huge clue. This error code isn't just random. It only pops up when you get going, specifically when you're driving over 25 miles per hour. So what does that tell us? It means the system is actively trying to do its job and check the tires. But once you're up to speed, it just can't get a clear, valid reading. To really get to the bottom of this, we need to put on our detective hats. This error code is our first big clue, and it points us to 4 main suspects. We're going to go through each one, starting with the most common, and thankfully the easiest one to fix. Okay, so here's our investigation roadmap. First, we'll look at the simplest thing, the actual air pressure in your tire. Then we'll check out the sensor's battery. After that, we'll see if the sensor is even sending a signal at all. And finally, we'll look at a potential communication breakdown in the car's wiring, what's called a bus signal failure. Look, before you start thinking about buying new parts or diving into complex wiring diagrams, you have got to start with the simple stuff first. Always. This approach is going to save you a ton of time, a ton of money, and a whole lot of frustration. So, suspect number 1 is just plain old low tire pressure. Yep, that's it. If the pressure is way too low, the sensor can freak out and send a signal that the computer reads as invalid. So, your very first move? Grab a tire gauge, check the pressure in that front left tire, and fill it up to the level recommended on that little sticker inside your driver's side door. Okay, what if you've checked the tire pressure and it's perfect, but that annoying light is still on? Well, now our investigation turns to the sensor itself. This gets a little more technical, but trust me, it's nothing you can't handle. Just like the battery in your TV remote, the tire pressure sensor has a tiny little battery inside it, and over time, they just die. This is a really common reason for this code to show up. The fix is pretty straightforward. You got to replace the sensor's battery, which usually just means swapping out the whole sensor unit for a new one. Our third suspect is a sensor that's just gone completely silent. The car's computer doesn't hear a peep from it for about 18 minutes, it'll throw this code. Think of it like a power outage for just that one sensor. The problem often isn't the sensor itself, but its connection to power. So you'll want to take a close look at the wiring and ground connections right there at the wheel. All right, and our final suspect is what's called a bus signal failure. Now, if the last problem was a local power outage, think of this one as a massive traffic jam on the car's main information highway. The sensor might be shouting out the right pressure, but the message is getting lost or garbled on its way to the computer. And this brings us back to checking the wiring and connections because a bad wire can cause all sorts of communication chaos. Whew! Okay, we've just walked through all the possible culprits. Now, let's bring it all home and put it into a clear, simple action plan that you can follow step by step. This is your game plan to knock this thing out. So, to recap, here's the logical order. First things first, check the air pressure in that front left tire. Seriously, do this first. If that's good to go, then the next most likely problem is a dead battery in the sensor. If it's not either of those, then it's time to start inspecting the wiring and connections for any obvious damage, corrosion, or maybe something that's just come loose. So, what does this all boil down to? That little light on your dashboard, it can feel really intimidating, but it doesn't automatically mean a trip to the shop and a huge repair bill. By following these steps, you now have the knowledge to figure this out on your own. And in a lot of cases, it really is as simple as low tire pressure. So could 5 minutes with a tire gauge save you a bunch of time and money? You better believe it.